And now, there is just me. Okay, first things first, let's go do the insanely dangerous thing. And just see what happens.
Right to work! Right to work! Shame on you!
Are you a mercenary hired by Wild Pines? Hell no, I'm just an honest scab. I won't have talk like that around here, you understand? It has to be said, that was not a convincing line. Hell no, I am an honest scab? That didn't sound too convincing. Fucking loincloth. He stares you, well, had to crack at some point. He stares you down minutely for a second. Loincloth, now you see. That's not really what a scab would say, is it? Better not to press the issue further, sire. He seems tense. Is there a tribunal being convened by any chance? Effing bug. Breathes out slowly, his giant chest deflating and his mouth slightly open. I'm going to interpret it as yes, there's a tribunal and it won't be long until it's ready. How about you F off now, huh? Okay. I think you may be able to help me decipher some tattoos. Don't think so, he grunts, barely glancing at it. Suddenly this feels like a really, really bad idea. We're investigating murder. These tattoos were on the victim's body. Silence. He takes the photo. Gray eyes dart back and forth on the glossy surface, his face unmoving. You see dead flesh, in colorful rivers of polychrome, melting skin and hair. After a while, he cranes his head side to side and sighs. Effin' loincloths really did him in. Can you tell me what the tattoo means? What it means, he points to the one tiny star in the web of lines, away from the man's heart, almost on his stomach, in what must have been Seminine. I can tell you what this one means. Only one. He squints at it. Too small. You want to hear what happened here? Yes. Our colonel is deep in the bush here. Deep in the effing bush. In Benital. 41. Monsoon season. He is the reconnaissance mission. He's on a reconnaissance mission. Benital is one of the inhabited islands of the Semines archipelago, near the Pale, covered in jungle. It was the anchor point for the Semines nationalists in the proxy war held on the islanders' territory. He spent a month behind enemy lines, scouting kept villages. Nothing but effing bugs and snakes for fun. Men are getting restless. There's talk of switching employers. He licks his lips, as if drunk suddenly. With some strange emotion, this is going to get really graphic. Last moment to back off. Hear it. Our boy, he's only a captain then, but he knows how these men think. They don't see action soon. His voice gets strangely quiet. Long, long way from right to work. His gaze pierces the paper. At dawn, he comes upon two kips, breeding in the bushes by the river. Or maybe they weren't breeding. Maybe they were just making eyes at each other. I like to think they were breeding. We shot the boy. He was useless, but the girl, she was nice. A little fat, you know, but not too old. Say nothing. She was quite the entertainment. For a week she lasted, expired in the hands of Sarge Mason. And the kind of guy who'd make chief there. He nods towards the man on the gate. Shit his pants. And cry like a bitch. God, he suddenly bursts out laughing. Mason couldn't let go. Wow. Cut the tits off her cold body and effing ate them. Said the primitive spirits were watching over him now. Suddenly the laughter stops. Drowned in a creek a week later. Spirits my ass. Something stirs in your stomach. There's a word on the tip of your tongue. Colorless, odorless. It's... You were there? No, I was in the domain. In Shamrock, being a bouncer. You're not really a scab leader, are you? Effin' mask is getting sweaty. I want to take my mask off, but... He shrugs. He's under orders, and orders are orders. You can have that. Nah, you earned it. He turns towards the gate slowly and starts yelling. Alright now, free commerce! Keep the goods flowing! On the photo in your hands, the dead man's skin is studded with stars, tens, hundreds of them, littering his skin. Okay, so I can't push him any further. Doesn't look like I can do more about that. but interesting. I thought that would go really badly for me. But it didn't. Okay, so what else can I do? I've got a lot of skill points banked. Holy shit, I've got a lot. I should probably start using them. Why don't we use them on frivolous things? So, actual art degree. That's another coppa type. The worst one. The most savage and brutal, the art cop. Nothing is good enough for him. Everything is shit. You have to employ an armada of adjectives to depict and demean the mediocrity of works and visual institutions around you. Really flex that critical muscle until the vocabulary for punishing mediocrity becomes second nature. Here we go. So I'm internalizing that for a couple of reasons. One, because I've got a freaking real art degree, actual art degree, and I feel like it would be weird not to. Okay, what else do we do? I've got a silly amount of skill points. Do I have anything that I can actually work with? Bird's Nest Roy. Where is Bird's Nest Roy? Who is Bird's Nest Roy? I've totally forgotten. Let's see. So, we'll pretty much never get that Shivers one. Tamilaham. I might be able to do that. Measurehead Sileng. The map wall. Oh. The map wall might be worth it. Warded door. And the ice cream maker. So it looks like increasing physical instrument might help. And I don't care too much about... Oh, wash basin is shaving. So let's do tasks. So I got a little bit of time before we can go talk to the smoker on the balcony. So I guess the best order of business that I can do is let's go back in here. Let's see if I can up my physical instrument. Unfortunately, I'm an absolute crap shack as far as physical anything goes, which sucks. But maybe it's thawed. Pry bar ain't strong enough. I'd do it. The warded door, though. Which one's the warded door? Fazia. Piranha. Oh. I don't have a flashlight. Elaborate piece of art. Okay. I think so. The web is comprised of radio stations. Yep, El Capo del Art. Say Art Cop 5 times. You think so? The web is comprised of radio stations. All lead back to one red heart titled the Game Master frequency. Note says, one can listen in on any station it wants. Okay. I don't really care about any of these things. And we still don't have the password for that one. I'm surprised it hasn't popped up yet. Maybe I know where the warded door is. It's fine. I can pretty much just interact with all these things, I think, if I want. I'm just surprised this hasn't melted yet. Okay. One way or another, we need a better pry bar to get that one open. I'm looking for small tasks that I can do in the meantime. I guess we could go sell some stuff. Mostly postcards. I think everything else I can hold on to. Oh, actually, we can go get this stuff for Gart. He might not be, like, full happy about it, but you know what? It's something. Okay. What's up, Gart?
Can I help you?
Gart, I found a new bird for the whirling. What is this thing? The man takes the stuffed bird. I wanted to apologize for breaking the great skua by bringing you this ruffled grouse. Okay, he inspects the bird somewhat suspiciously, then mellows. Okay, well, this is actually a nice bird. A competent piece of taxidermy. I can fix it to the plaque and have a new bird in the establishment, I guess. He hesitates. So I don't know. Thank you? I'm gonna go with thank you. People just don't know how to accept gifts, especially taxidermy. He likes it. He likes the bird and solves his broken bird problem. Goodbye. See you, Gart. I am a good person. Let's see. I guess next up, we should probably go back to the, we should probably go back to the store. It's not a secondhand store. It's not a antique store. It's a... Man, why can't I think of the word? Hard to turning old and senile. That's a bad thing. Anyway. Pawn shop, there we go. I was like, I could only think of antique stars, and I knew that was very wrong. Anyway.
Hello again. How can I help you?
Is Roy high, and if so, what is he on? Nope, no clue. You obviously haven't been doing enough drugs lately. Got something to sell. Let's see. Access your pawn menu. It's pretty much sell nothing but postcards. We're gonna hold on to the photo of the happy couple, but pawn all of the postcards. What is that? Lieutenant's handkerchief. Nope. And I need the canister for things. Okay. I ask about the missing gun again. Let's see, any idea where I can find the buyer? He's not telling you the whole story, he's trying to spare you. I feel like there's something you're not telling me. You weren't quite yourself, officer. What was that like? You're very distraught. You said the gun was a threat to your life, and you can't trust yourself with it tonight. Then you need the money. When I said that I don't normally buy firearms, you put the gun barrel in your mouth and sort of sucked on it. Then I agreed to take it. Wait, how much did I sell the gun for? 15 real. Oof. Sorry you had to see me in that state. We don't have to talk about it any further. Okay. Was the buyer a policeman too? She kept referring to herself as a pig. She didn't seem like a policeman, though she kept referring to herself as a pig, which is odd. I found her interest in the gun a bit obsessive. Happy to get rid of it, and of her. Truth be told, she was terrifying. Okay, what if she intends to commit a crime and blame it on the citizens' militia, on me? He tenses. I hadn't considered that. That's why I don't like to deal with guns. He considered it, but his priority was to get rid of the gun as quickly as possible, be it for a price. Okay, anything else? Nope. Okay, so another task if I feel like doing it, but I don't. I don't really care what kind of drugs he's on. I think it's late enough. Let's go see if we can talk to the smoker on the balcony. No, it's not. Man, I've been making good time. I mean, good time is somewhat relative. Still. Okay, is the working class woman still out here? She is. Oh, right, because it's not 9 o'clock yet. That's when everybody kind of goes home and disappears. I'd really like to play another one of these games where the clock matters a little bit more. Like, certain characters will actually be walking around and doing things depending on the day. Oh, hey, I've got paint now. Oh, but I can't paint the wall. Alright, whatever. Worst comes to worst, I just sit around. Okay. Out to the balcony. Yeah, because I'm assuming Kuno's dad is still very much... just passed out on the bed. You hear distant traffic. Night is falling on the city. A maroon glow of pollution rises from the east. Okay. So now what do we do? I got 15 minutes. Do I have any books? Might be the biggest sandwich you've ever seen. The size is almost intimidating, invoking feelings of inadequacy. Abundant in components, rich in both smell and taste, probably. The work of a master craftsman. Leave that for a bit. Already looked at that. Okay. We've done that. We've listened to the Dork Hunter Mega Mix. Map of the Martinez. Okay, so we just needed that for actual map. The Greatest Innocence. I could read it for a bit. Okay, Greatest Innocence by João Paulo Salomão Lopes de Fuego. Book is very large and heavy. Open it up. Found him. Okay, browsing through the various chapters, you try your best to understand the ceaseless overload, the sprawl of the names, dates, places, events, historical. Most of it ends up as a twisted mass of facts inside your brain. Educational survey is done. Did you catch any of that? No? Oh well, pop quiz time. Let's see if you've learned anything. This might take a few minutes. You ready? Sure, why not? Who's the first innocence? Oh yeah, this is what I was made for. Give me the hints. Pop quiz is a short examination designed to test the knowledge without any prior warning or announcement. Such exams allow the teacher to assess how thoroughly the students have retained the material at hand. And voila! First, blast the first innocence. Thanks for nothing. Dolores Day. Incorrect. Dolores Day was the innocence of humanism, internationalism, and welfare state. She codified parliamentary democracy and created modern institutions. Among these, the moral intern. She is powerful and beautiful on all of her icons. Her colors are silver, white, and apricot. And when you think her name, Dolores' stomach acid rises to the back of your throat and it hurts. See a flash of silver, a wreath, an airport bag, and blonde hair. You don't know why. Another choice, perhaps. Steer clear of this one. There's something terrible about this one. What? A strange sensation of loss. When she left the Earth, the dust and ice and humans. That is unimportant to the quiz. Stop thinking about this. Let's see. Sola? Incorrect. Sola was anointed during the previous century. Even lived to see the current one. She was an urban planner who spoke her mind and largely left history to its own devices, encouraging people to excel on their own, rather than prescribing to a defined model of history. She's often called an anti-innocence. Oh, so kind of like Pope. Sola resigned after an assassination attempt by a Yugo nationalist who blamed her for not taking the side of the left during the turn-of-the-century revolutions. Innocences don't usually resign. Care to try again? Percanacian. Correct. Nothing much is known about him. It's not even clear that he was a he, but Franconegro presumed as such and called him pious. He is depicted as a young man with a molten gold pouring out of his mouth. All he spoke was gold. It's said that he invented God and equality of men before God. He also introduced the gold standard as a way of measuring that love. As the first innocents, he declared that there should be more of those like him. It's presumed his disciples were the beginning of the Holy Party, the founding party. It was the strongest innocents. Okay, easy. Everyone knows the answer to this one. You, me, anybody. Try again. Innocence is the highest category of historical personages in the world. A literal personification of history. Traditionally, an innocence, when anointed, assumes supreme rule over the Occident, or the known world in general. At least in the parts that matter. Yes, so interesting. I thought you'd give me the answers to these questions. I can do better. Okay. So commonly, an innocence does not enforce his or her own power through military power. This is seen as unnecessary. The innocence wins because an innocence can't help but win. For their deeds are inevitable. Did this help? Yes, immensely. Great. Dolores. Incorrect again. Well, she originated many modern institutions, launched several successful expeditions, and was even a critical of the innocentric system itself. It somehow keeps popping up in your mind. She's not often considered the strongest. Even though the words are most associated with her rule, the l'amour, la compassion, and la autodiscipline, love, compassion, self-control, which could be seen as facets of strength. Would you like to try again? Vesper Messina? Incorrect. Vesper Messina is not a person, but a defunct state on the southeastern coast of the Occident. It's used to take up most of the peninsula before separating into the republics of Vesper and Messina. Try again. Franconegro. Correct. Named the innocence of militarism, he codified hereditary rule, but at the same time ended serfdom and established the interstellary real as the global reserve currency. He also established the concept of nation. Franconegro attempted to solve the rising tensions between the aristocracy and the bourgeoisie by building a unified society, which every man has a place and a mission, but at the same time may rise to nobility provided the strength of his virtue. Who is the false innocence? Got it under control, no problem. Solid on this one. It's widespread historical information. I could use a hint. Yes, there exists a group called the Founding Party, known as the Holy Party during the time of Pertinacian. This, the world's oldest international organization, spends its time in search of either the re-emergence of the innocents or new members. Sigh heavily out loud. It seems to be a mix-up with the sources. It's not my fault. At least it clearly wasn't Dolores Day. She shouldn't be false. She's beautiful. Dolores. No, stop thinking about it. Said it wasn't her. She was true. No Pasternak? Correct. There have been a number of counter or false innocences. Some assumed to be to have innocentric qualities. Some who thought them, just thought so themselves. Occasionally, they have the support of a faction inside of the ecclesiastic organization, and accusations of foul play have arisen. The most famous and most important of these was Erno Pasternak, who was into torture, despotism, hymns, cannons, world conquest, but got defeated and humiliated by Stefan, the despicable of Ketra. Final stretch. Come so far and learned so much. Who's the most? This is the most important one. Who is the greatest innocence? The most important of them all. The most precious to humankind. I got it. Honest. Okay, this is my thing. The real reason I exist in the world. The correct answer is Franconegro. You're certain about this. Zero doubts. Dolores Day. Correct. The Mesk might see Franconegro as the father of nations, but as of this century, there's been a great shift in attitude. Dolores Day has become widely regarded as the greatest innocence, most radical change to the whole fabric of the world. Everything from the interstellary to the connected world, the three consecutive scientific revolutions can be traced back to her. Every decade that passes, she seems less human somehow, more beautiful. Congratulations on finishing the test. The results of your subsequent grade have been calculated. You get a D. Not particularly remarkable, but technically a passing grade. Not that anyone expected better. You would have done better if you just left Dolores Day for the end. Dial the Dolores Day down a bit. Damn you, arrogant book. You were shouting at an inanimate object like a real weirdo. No wonder you seem to have trouble with the right answers. Put the book away. Well, anyway. Time to talk to this guy. Of course I've thought about quitting, but for what? Okay. Yes, a handsome young man hums with a cigarette in hand. Are you looking for me, gendarme? Knock. No one answers. The man you're looking for is right next to you. You should try and talk to him.
Gendarmerie, you found me.
The young man on the balcony gives you a bright smile before taking another drag from his cigarette. His slender figure is backlit by city lights, its distant streets and motorways flashing like diamonds. Feels like a Friday. He seems to be in a good mood tonight. And his shirt is still unbuttoned. Got your hint. Found the key right under that stone.
Beautiful.
He replies, smiling. As he looks at you, something sparkles in his eyes.
Tell me, are you here to make things right again?
I'm not going to make things right. Just right. I'm going to make them spectacular.
Beautiful.
He says again. A nearby street lamp casts shadows on his chin, drawing out the slender cheekbones.
I have some good news for you. My Sunday friend is visiting me tonight. I told him about you, and he'd like to say hello. Step in. He's already waiting.
He nods towards door number 28. This sounds like a problem. By the way, I'm really digging the view here. Point to the city skyline. That's why I chose this place. Looks away, his cigarette and glowing in the dark. Martinez is special, isn't it? Is it Friday tonight? It feels like Friday. Yeah, it does feel like the end of the week. Such gentle weather. Even the rain feels nice. He leans over the railing and sticks out his hand to feel the rain. Why would I want to meet your friend? Trust me, you do. Very well, I'll talk to him. But first I want to talk to you. I have so many questions. That's nice, but I don't have anything to tell you. It's my friend you're looking for, not me. He takes another drag of his unfiltered cigarette and looks around. It's getting dark, and the neighboring windows have lit up one by one. Besides, I've got to run. He's going to leave you alone again. That's sad. But I've just found you again. Just look at it. He gestures towards the distant motorways, all leading to the Golden La Delta. It's beautiful at night. Who's going to stay in on a night like this? He's right. Only losers go to bed early. Time to break out the booze. Alright, then. Take care, alright? He says with another disarming smile before slipping off into the night. And he's gone again. Looks like it's becoming a theme for him. Alright, Sunday friend. Oh man, I forgot about that Friday song. I wonder what happened to her. Like, she was the laughing stock of the internet for about a year. I kind of feel bad about that. Like, yeah, obviously it was kind of cheeseballs, but like, whatever. Hopefully she at least stayed sane through it all. Who is this guy? I don't know. Wait, is that Everett's brother? Quarterly Business Magazine. It's a Maran conical hat. Exquisite canopy bed made out of metal. Dishes soaked up in a pot. An empty ashtray. Flyers for underground parties. Drama and... Oh. Old photo of the same apartment, dated year 01. Buckets of paint on a layer of old newspapers. Okay, so what's up with this dude?
Officers of the Reverschel Citizens Militia.
The man in business casual removes his cufflinks. You shouldn't be seeing him in an intimate setting. For some reason you feel this man is your superior. Superior, but he's not on the command
My
chain.
name is Charles Villedron. I am an official with the coalition government. I work for the Institute of Price Stability on assignment from Sir Leclerc. I heard you talking to my friend outside. Very good. Super. I'm here to assist you in any way possible. Ask me about the hanging.
Hanging? What a drag. He seems like a cultured gentleman. You should ask him about finer things. Going to the bed. Before we go on, I absolutely have to inquire about this wonderful canopy.
Oh yes, my friend has a great eye for these things. He refuses to tell me where it came from. It's a mystery. I believe they call this type of frame industrial. It's very comfy. That's really all I can tell you about it.
He forms a little rooftop with his fingers. Cold air sweeps in from the balcony. You actually witnessed the lynching. I'm sorry to say I did, officer. The man gives a solemn nod. He didn't see the hanging. He saw the little show staged by the Hardys. Let him talk. He may know more than even he knows. Start from the beginning if you don't mind. Officer, it's very difficult to describe what I saw that night. It was so surreal to me, like in a play. He holds out his hands and blossoms his fingers, like a drama teacher setting the scene. Meaning it was terrifying? No, the man shakes his head. I mean, it was so strange I could barely believe what was happening. I was on the balcony when it happened, getting some fresh air. I remember that first they came in, carrying what looked like a body, and then I saw all the surrounding windows go dead one by one. That's when I understood I should not be seeing this. Thank you, sir. I think we got the picture. Anything else to stand out? Only that there were about 8 or 10. I couldn't make anything out. It was so dark. It was quiet, he says, smoothing his hair. Quietest lynching I've ever heard of, let alone heard. But I suspect you knew that already. Can't say I'm surprised. The fine reputation the men and women serving in the RCM is well deserved. What's an official like you doing in Martinez? The coalition is only looking out for the price stability. He raises an index finger. Inflation is a killer, like a heart disease, blocking the normal circulation of the economy. It must be controlled. The economy impacts the entire international community, which is why it requires international oversight. Okay, but what are you doing here in this apartment? Well, I'm renovating it. It's an interesting project. The building used to be a 12-story skyscraper before the cannons took off the top 4 stories. Of course, this happened when the coalition forces landed here. He smiles. You could say I'm undoing some of the material damage the international community caused when we arrived here. Jake's some kind of bureaucrat. Yes, as I said before, I'm a commissioner from the Sur le Clef, working for the Institute of Price Stability. He glances at his watch. This is one of the main projects of the Moral Intern. Wait. There isn't actually an Institute of Price Stability, is there? Maybe there is. God, it's impossible to understand whether someone from the Moral Intern is joking or not. What's this international community? La Communitao Internationale is what the Revicolians colloquially call the collection. In other words, the nations that stopped the disaster of the revolution. But what do I call the coalition? Your employer, technically speaking, the governing authority of Revachol. The RCM is but one part of the provisional administration. What's the price stability? It's the most important thing. That clears everything up. It's the central goal of any sound monetary policy. Maintaining the price stability is essential to maintaining high levels of economic activity, which is essential for maintaining high levels of employment. Which is essential... Ooh, breakthrough. Essential for maintaining the social stability. Oh, breakthrough imminent. So as soon as we're done with this, I get the breakthrough. How does this benefit us exactly? Take your daily bread, for example. Too much inflation, bread becomes too expensive. Too much deflation, it becomes too cheap for bakers to produce. That's why Institute of Price Stability works to keep inflation just below 2%. Below 2% of what? But not too far below, no. 2 below is bad. Below, but close to 2%. You're not answering my questions at all. The coalition believes in the importance of informing the public about the benefits of the price stability. Transparency is one of our principles. Would you like an informational pamphlet? Sure. A sound monetary policy is essential for addressing uncertainty. Stability is the reason the tear of the moral intern. It's the reason why I identify as a moralist. He pats his pockets. Oh, but I don't have any leaflets on me today. That's too bad. You can always call our information line. Making information available is part of the moral intern's commitment to transparency. I've heard of the Moral Intern before, but I want to hear more. It's the International Organization for Moralists, hence Moralist International. The Institute of Price Stability is just one of its many mind babies as a coalition. He's here to spy on what's-her-face. Are you a moralist? But of course. Am I a moralist? Well, do you value freedom? Do you believe in normal, stable world governed by democratic values? Martinez doesn't seem very normal or stable to me. Martinez? No, Martinez is something else. What about the rest of Revachol? Is it part of the normal world? Revachol is generally difficult, led by an interim government, which means it hasn't yet achieved full democracy. But they are working towards it. You're all doing very well here, relatively speaking. He gives you an approving nod. It's like every time I'm talking to people, I'm choosing option D. None of the above. Is that moralism? Is this option D usually the most reasonable answer? Defend the political center. The world's most laughable centrist. Har. Yes, everything else is super extreme. It's like I'm living with a bunch of lunatics. Sounds like you're a moralist indeed. My friend, welcome. Moralism is all about compromise and achieving the achievable. It's pragmatic, realistic, and level-headed. An ideology for doers. Are you a doer, my friend? Looks to me like you are. Now, enough about this delightful political interlude. Is there anything else you want to ask? Tell me about Sur La Clef. What's there to say? Sur La Clef is a modern urbanized country that measures high on the Human Development and Freedom Index. Mostly, though, it's known as the executive heart of Epis. Moreover, it's a great sponsor of less emerged countries. Revachol is one of its many darlings, whose progress it supports and cherishes. Darlings? That can't be the official designation. What makes Revachol Sur La Clef's darling? Because a great percentage of Revachol's culture hails from Sur La Clef. Its language, its people, its cuisine even, or at least in the downtown La Delta area. Jamrock and other parts of the international zone have been mercifully spared of Sur La Clef's love for meatballs and mashed potatoes. Enough business, let's talk about something else. Can you tell me about your friend? Ah, my friend. My friend is a good young man. His family immigrated here from Kedra, and life has not been easy for him, but he understands the importance of education. He's taken his future into his own hands, and that's all that matters. What's Kedra? Kedra is a candidate member of Epis, but between you and me, their political membership is more contentious issue. What do you mean? It's never going to happen. They've entered negotiations in 21, and it's been pending ever since. What's this Epis thing you keep talking about? Epis is a very special program developed by the Moral Intern to support certain Occidental nations. It began as a unified system of weights and measures, which proved to be a wild success. Nothing but kilograms and centimeters as far as the eye can see. It was such a wild success that we expanded it into an economic union for the processing of steel. Another success. Between you and me, the Moral Intern feels emboldened by this success. Emboldened to take Epis to the next level. What does it stand for? It stands for progress and stability. Like the Moral Intern as a whole. No, what do the letters stand for? It's been such a wild, extraordinary success for. We're very excited to take it to the next level. You don't even hear the words I'm saying, do you? A supranatural's political alliance. The United States of the Occident. Is it going to be like this place here? You mean Revachol? No, it's going to have transparent democracy. Is Revachol going to be part of Epis? One day it's going to be a candidate member of Epis, sure. Except for the candidate means members never become full members, do they? Didn't you say the candidate members never become real members? No, candidate members do become members. Why do we even have the whole system in place if they don't? It just takes time. Time and evaluation. But we're talking about my friend here, not politics. He chuckles gently. How'd you two even become friends? How did any of us become friends? Bad things happening on the Insulity and Isola. Oil platforms ablaze in the night. Civil wars lasting years. Finally, the international community is forced to step in. What are you talking about? No one becomes friends that way. Au contraire, that's how millions of people end up where they are. Meeting the people they meet. That's how I came here, and my friend too. What are you doing in this apartment by yourself? I'm just enjoying the view, the man smiles, nodding to the window. What view? It's dark outside. Listen, he says, raising his hand. A baby is crying in the neighboring apartment. Someone's baby is crying. No, listen, he says again, stepping outside. The Insulidian Bay. What about it? This place used to be a luxury accommodation. Before the revolution, apartments, of course, were much bigger than a few walls have been added here and there, leaving some of the tenants without a private bathroom or a kitchen. But the million real view stays. You can't take that away. He knocks on the balcony door, face mirrored on the darkened glass. I was asking about your friend. My friend comes and goes. I'm sure you'll see him around. He's a busy bee. Busy bee? What an odd choice of words. Still haven't told me who he is. Sorry, who? Man throws a quick glance at his watch. Your friend, the smoker on the balcony. We were just talking about him. But I told you, officer, he's a bright young man here to pursue his education. Education is a founder of the future, especially the arts. It's a cornerstone of our civilization. So, all you can tell me about him is that he's here to study the arts. He's deeply enmeshed in the study of the fine arts, yes. As though he weren't envious enough of the boy as is. Which arts? He's truly a free spirit. He likes all the arts. Perhaps graphic design, printmaking, who knows? The world's open wide for a talented youth such as them. That's not how it works. You really do need to specialize. It's very hard to do multiple types of art at once. Unless you're like a no-lifer. It's rough. Anyway. Well, I'm going. A moment, officer. Do you have anything you need from me? I'm afraid we won't have the chance to speak again once you leave. Let's see. Hold on. Why can't we talk later? It's against diplomatic best practices for an official in my position to be discussing murders with local militiamen. He pauses. I'm pressed for time. After you leave, I should be leaving as well. Thanks for the heads up, but my work here is done. Of course, I'm glad to help. Actual arts degree. Trite, contrived, mediocre. Huh. Conceptualization passives heal 1 morale and give 10 EXP. Okay. Trite, contrived, mediocre, milquetoast, amateurish, infantile, cliché, and gonorrhea-ridden paean to conformism. I effed me. Affront to humanity. War crime. Should literally be tried for war crimes. Resolutely shit. Lacking in imagination. Uninformed. Reimagining of lip-wristed, premature, ill-informed attempt at talentless... best. Recidivist shit peddler. Pedantic, listless, savagely boring. Just one repulsive laugh after another. Huh. I mean, that's kind of okay. I should probably level this up a couple of times. Make up for it. Okay. Let's see. That might be worth it. Let's unlock a couple of these. Okay, so what do we want? Aces high? Empathy towards Kim Kitsuragi. I mean, pretty much obvious. Obviously. Let's see. Insulating in Civil War was not the first war to use the aerostatics aircraft on both sides. It was the longest for 8 years. Folded multi-rotor aircrafts crisscrossed the air above Revachol, Ozone, Face de la Mer, and the Arcade Islands. They made sweeps over sandy beaches and shot each other out of the blue sky, then sank as wrecks into the bottom of the sea. Aces High was a custom on the revolutionary side, performed by squadron mates after landing. Kim Kitsuragi likes it. Why is that? So what other ones would I want? Volumetric shit compressor. Maybe? Some kind of superstar. Seems unlikely. The bow collector. Finest authority and hand-eye coordination. Hell on Earth. The White Morning. Opioid receptor antagonist. Date of birth generator. I should probably internalize the Fairweather T500. Suicide of Krasmazov. Rhetoric. Bad PR. 15th into tribe. And bringing of the law. Law jaw. Weird jaw. Minus rhetoric. Okay. So, I think I might want to grab bringing of the law and the Fairweather T500. The Fairweather is probably going to take precedence, but friendship with Kim Kitsuragi definitely is even more so. I don't know. I'm just glad I can finally mess around with those. I did lose a lot of skill points unlocking these things, but I think I'm going to make up with it. Any conceptualization passive that we get at this point is going to give me 10 EXP. That, in and of itself, is worth at least 1 level. Possibly 2 by the time we're done with this game. Assuming, I think we get a number of conceptualizations. Bit of a shame I didn't grab that earlier. Really. Alright, whatever. Let's get out of here. It's 10:30. That's not so bad. So I think next order of business, I don't know how late I can be out. So we're going to just walk down to the village. And then I'm probably going to just walk around mostly looting things. We might not have a whole lot that we can interact with. We still don't know how to get in here, do we? Yeah, so that's super locked. I think my general goal will be to just go south, looting everything that I possibly can, just in case. Also, just don't know if there's anything that really changes at night. I gotta go check one thing, though. This is something that I've been meaning to do for a while. I want to go back and check if Measurehead is still up there. Yeah, Measurehead and his girls are still there. Weird. I wonder if they ever sleep. Because I know at 2100 they usually go to bed. Maybe someday if I really don't have anything to do, or if I've just had a lot to do, I can head over there and double check and see if see if he goes to bed ever and I can just open the gate. That would probably cause all sorts of problems, but it'd be interesting to find out. I could be a troublemaker cop. Oh, I can actually interact with that. But it has some money on it. How much I want to buy? Might buy Kuno's track jacket to make up for him for not getting his drugs. Or giving him his drugs. I don't know. That feels a little weird to me, but it's fine. Okay. So the drunks. We haven't Les Vuitton. I don't know. Let's talk to him.
Good to see you, friend. Do I have deals set up for you, buddy boy?
Good to see you too, friend.
So what do you want? I got smokes. They're cheap. Very cheap. I got Pilsner. Great deal. You won't get a better deal on that piss. Spirits I can let go for 300 real. Also, I have speed. And by speed, I mean amphetamine.
Why does this bottle of spirits cost 300 real? See, friend, he brings out a 1-liter bottle with a bluish liquid. The mouth is corked shut. It's real valuable, worth every real, if you catch my drift. Got it from a bit of a business venture. Let him speak. You know, it's funny, actually. He bursts out laughing, then takes 3 gulps of his Pilsner and stares at you intently. He's finding it difficult to focus his watery gaze. What is? What? Keep him talking. What do you mean, what? What'd you think was funny earlier? This guy, he says and shakes his index finger at you. Where'd you get the bottle of spirits from? Oh, this medical spirits. The good stuff. Got it from the doctor's office. Got one of those scientific ampules a few months ago. Torpedo, they call it. It's supposed to keep a man from taking his drink. He spits a nasty yellow clot on the ground before you. Didn't stop me for shit, that's for sure. His voice rings with pride. 5 lemons and half a pack of butter, and you're good to go. That sounds dangerous. It was, he croaks. In a week, the goddamn kidneys started giving me all kinds of hell. Finally, the missus took me to a private doctor's office. Not a charity, the real thing. Those assholes, he gets visibly angry. Those assholes charged me 4 real to remove the damn thing. But I came out on top after all. Okay, how? It has left me alone in there. Now, I used to teach high school biology. I know what doctors use to preserve dead thingies. It's an excited gleam in his eyes. Swipe 3 cans of this blue medicinal stuff in the back room. Threw the snakes out and voila. What's left is this beautiful blue stuff. He shakes the bottle. 98.7% almost pure alcohol. 2 I already sold to these fine gentlemen here. He nods at his companions. But the last one's yours for 3 real if you want it. Don't say it. I think it'll prove useful. Yes. 3 reals and it's yours, friend. Deal of a lifetime. Buy the blue medicinal spirits. Hands you the bottle. Just be sure you enjoy that one, friend. And I'm off. In a civilized world, it's custom to tip the shopkeep, friend. but come back anyway. He waves you off. I don't actually know if that's going to be helpful, but preserving something dead, that might be very helpful. Or the window of opportunity for that is passed. I'm not really sure. Okay. Let's pack rat some stuff. There's got to be a little bit of something I can find while we're out here. Right here. Okay, there it is. Little black swallow circles above you. You hear it chirp. That's something? No. Doesn't really look like I can interact with much of this. A lot of just ice and nothing. Looking back at you from the rust-colored waters. You. Wait, take a longer look at yourself and how you're reflected in that slick chemical rainbow. What do you see? Well, that's good. Metaphor. It's always a metaphor. Some kind of metaphor for me. It's more important than you. That's the blood of industry you see before you. The runoff from the coal city. Further down the coast. The engines of fortunes once roared here. Great wealth poured into Revachol. And the Delta. As did smoke, waste, sickness, life. What happened? The engines stopped. The West Revacholian industrial base was dismantled after the war. Now extinguished coke furnaces dot the landscape despoiled by industry. There's a serious dereliction of duty in this cleanup. Perhaps you could dedicate your life to cleaning it up, but you're a cop. You must concern yourself with different messes. Even so, it's pretty to think. Oh, there's already... That's 10 EXP right then and there. Rust-eaten letters that read Mazoot. Rear tire of a motor carriage adorns these reeds. It's Nolan Vinged Sink, an unsuccessful model. We get some notice of Fed. I think magnesium, yeah. But I've needed them so far. There's a slit in the concrete here. A sewer? The light vanishes inside the concrete slit, and the structure goes deep under the earth. What's in there? Maybe it's a storm drain for the sewer. Yell ho into the slit. There's no echo, and no answer. A kick drum pulse. The music is coming from somewhere on the ice. A school of fish huddle around the fence post, then scatter into the dark. Full of holes. Could the post hide treasure? Look inside. Holy crap. That's a bit of a gold mine. So the music's coming from that tent. Get up here first. I don't even really know what is here. Feel the shadow of a very large building fall on you. Dusty pews in the shadows. Many seem to be missing. Oh, so this is the church. Already. Altar shrouded in the dark, or something like it. It's too dark to tell. Sign reads St. Brune, 1147. Church doors. Heavy wooden doors, more than twice your height, stand shut in front of you. The rectangular, sea-worn ornamentation appears in stark contrast to the padlock carelessly drilled into the wood. Inspect the carpentry. Carvings on the doors block-like and angular, or carving on the doors block-like and angular, like the church itself. Two large beams shoot downwards, sinking into the wood before they reach the threshold. Your hand over a beam. The surface is smooth from the wind, but moist to the touch. Take a closer look at the padlock. The cheap-looking padlock is sturdily built. It shackles together a hasp and a staple screwed into the wooden door. The lock is adorned with a yellow sticker. It'll be easier to break the staple than the lock. Also, that sticker is interesting somehow. Look at the sticker. You see a yellow circle with two X's and a big curve below them that looks like a mouth. You're pretty sure you haven't seen it before. But what the symbol depicts is clear enough. A smiling dead guy. The curve makes it smile and the X's make it dead. There's something blindingly modern about this symbol. Its modernness puts to shame everything you've seen before. What makes it so modern? The contrast between the cheery chemical yellow and the rigor mortis. As if the cheery guy didn't know he was dead, or the dead guy didn't care what it was. Either way, you get the sense the forces of future at work here. Another look at the boring padlock, for absurdity's sake. The cheap-looking padlock is sturdily built. Okay, we've seen that. Inspect the staple. Padlock passes through a staple that's been hastily attached to the wood. Closer inspection reveals that one of the screws is not a screw at all, but a nail. The work has been done recently, and it's unprofessional, to say the least. Should you want to get through, it might be easier to just pry the whole thing off. Alright, try to peel the sticker off without ripping it. There we go, that's it. There's nothing like the sound of a sticker unpeeling. Now it's stuck to your thumb. Put the sticker in your ledger, after the last entry, where it belongs. Secret task complete. Style your paperwork. 10 EXP. Awesome. Looks like today was a gold star day. Okay. So let's do tools. I don't really want to go in here without Kim. So let's not. Like, mainly my goal right now is, seeing as I've got a fair amount of time and nothing to really spend it on, I was going to use today mainly to wander around and loot as many things as I can. There's loot up here. Because I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to interact with a single person. But clues? Or just loot? Yeah, I can work with that. Dead phone, a smashed receiver. Like someone hung up too hard. Someone must have worked hard to smash the plastic dome. Metal payphone under a yellow plastic dome. You could use it to call someone, unless you're out of change. Pick up the handset. Put in 10 cents and dial a random number. Calling? Still calling. It feels wrong. Should you be doing this? End of tone, someone picks up. Pierre, is that you, Pierre? The woman is female and sounds 100 years old. I might be. What's Pierre like? So nice of you to find the time to call me. It gets so lonely. Even the animals have died. That's not good. Are you sure you're Pierre? Your voice is different. There. Chrysanthemum. Her voice is drowned in white noise. Sounds like waves washing on the beach, growing in volume until the call suddenly disconnects. Well, that was a waste of 10 cents, but sure, why not? I'm curious how much I could waste on there and if I get anything interesting. Buzz, hum. The electricity flows through the wires with audible power. Railing. Someone's left an unidentifiable article of clothing on the railing. It smells really bad. Take a closer look. Streaked with dried seagull shit and tangled with pieces of seaweed. A dangling arm suggests there might be a jacket beneath the crust of filth. Much as the thought of touching it causes you to cringe, this could be the jacket that idiot in the colorful tracksuit was looking for. Okay, well, there's my 10 cents back. Mega Binos prescription lenses. Extra encyclopedia, reduced perception. Vagrants have recently painted the tarp red. Water drips from it. Coin-operated weighing machine hasn't been used for a decade, so this is the fish market. Makeshift roof. Vagrants have tried to make the boardwalk habitable. That tarp will keep out neither rain, nor snow, nor wind. I've been on the beach during winter. It's usually really cold. The wind is brutal. Not something I would normally do. If I can avoid it. A big wine canister. It's open and empty. Moonshine, probably. Smells like tasty fermentation. There's somebody here. That smell, it's awful and familiar. What is it? Don't you recognize it? That hideous pungency, that faintly cloying sweetness. Only death smells like that. Something cold wakes in the pit of your stomach. Fear. God damn it. The sense of dread washes over you as you look ahead. Careful there, the floorboards look rotten and weak. There's some tare, an empty cigarette package, and a crumpled kebab wrapper in the trash bin. Examine the tare. Tear? 2 empty bottles of Tallulah vodka and a can of black potent porter is all you find. No, there's more in there. Livis strawberry liquor, plus some Pilsner bottles too. Better not pick them up. They seem unhygienic. Them in the cigarette package. Whoever tossed it here was a heavy smoker. The brand name reads Red Astra. Red Astra is the black market version of Astra cigarettes, known for their high tar content. Examine the kebab wrapper. You see traces of mayonnaise and ketchup on it, as well as a tomato wedge. The wrapper reads Shish Kebab Revachol. It's no older than a day or two. No mold yet. It's hard to concentrate in the smell. The sea air brings some relief. Oh no. You know, I was joking about the working class woman's husband being gone, but with that name, we found him. A man lies on the boardwalk, his limbs bent and neck turned at an unnatural angle. Right next to him is an empty bottle of spirits. In his cramped hand, a chewing gum wrapper. The smell is not as bad as a 2-week-old corpse, but it's definitely heading there. Another dead body. This is your job. Steel yourself. Calm now, carefully. Just another day, another dead body. Breathe. Study the man's clothes. He's wearing mud-caked boots, beige trousers, and an old brown leather jacket with a bright blue lining. There are traces of kebab sauce on the chest. Search the pockets. You find some sunflower seeds and a rain-soaked library card, folded into 2. Jacket feels sodden and heavy under your hand. Study the man himself. The man has fallen through a crack in the boardwalk and hit his head against the metal bench. Coagulated blood covers his black hair. One of his feet is still dangling through the hole. You have to be quite inebriated to fall that bad. 40 grams of pure alcohol, 3 bottles of wine, or 1.5 of spirits. Them in his face. Its expression is dull like the sea behind him, drops of water shining on his mustache, his eyes empty and wide, looking frightening in their frozen gaze. Height, 170 to 175 centimeters, curly hair, stout build, age, probably approximately 50 to 60 years. He was confused when he died, confused and alone, most likely, overcome with the awful surprise of it all. Study the surroundings. There's some dried blood on the metal bench, right where the corpse's head rests. The floorboards are rotten, and slippery wet around the hole. An empty bottle lies nearby. A chewing gum wrapper is clutched in his fist. Them in the man's head. A dried chunk of blood covers the hair at the back of the head. An open wound, it's sticky and cold to the touch. Examine the bottles. A 0.75 liter Tallulah vodka with its cap missing. There's hardly anything left inside. It's mid-market spirits with the slight touch of menthol. The man meant to enjoy himself, have a good time. Them in the chewing gum wrapper. Rybowski, spearmint chewing gum. Green leaves on the cover. The man's mouth is half agape from the terror of the fall. Look in. The blackness of death, stench. You think you see white chewing gum too. Step on the floorboard. The boards screech under the weight of the T500 ceramic sabatons. It's a good thing they're so light, because it's hard to determine whether there was the dead man's weight that caused the boardwalk to break. It definitely looks fragile. You see waves churning below. Something cracks beneath your feet. He could have easily disappeared into the sea through the hole, and you would have never found him. What should I do with the body? Okay, return to the dead body with Kim. First, you need to talk with the lieutenant, then report back to the station. This is too complicated to handle on your own. Coin-operated viewer has been out of order for years. Stop messing with the coin viewer and hold on to something. This wind is so strong. Now I just feel bad. I mean, obviously I didn't cause his death. And I think that's kind of the point that, like, you're... Oh, yeah, that would explain a lot. So effectively, yeah, you're just supposed to badger the working class woman until you get to this point, and then it's kind of revealed that, oh shit, her husband is in fact missing, and your character's just base instinct is like, something's wrong here. Bars cover these long, dusty windows. The remaining windows rattle from the strong gust of wind. They're covered in a thick layer of grime. It must have been like this for 40 years. Try to see inside. Dripping water falls from a high place. All you can see is the shadow of a collapsing staircase. There's rust and corrosion on the bars. They're foaming with it. And a small layer of white salt from the sea. Try to see inside again. Finished thought.